Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to More on the Road with Bernard Moore III, presented to you by More and More Sports Management. Nothing but more is what we're all about. For joining us this lovely day. We're having a little technical free. That's the exciting part I love about technology. Thank you again for joining us on More on the Road, presented to you by More and More Sports Management. Nothing but more is what we're all about. Before we get into the show, we want to give thanks to those that help make this possible. More and More Sports Management, looking for management service from contract negotiation, event planning, sponsorship, sales, and more. Give us a call at 601-3509 or log on to www.mms-management.com where we give you more, nothing but more. With Rob J, Jamie Horton, Larry Nix, and myself. Join us every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. live on Full Moon Barbecue, 1935 Main Street, Madison, Mississippi, or you can log on to Facebook, YouTube, X, or Instagram and join us every Sunday from 10 to 11 p.m. on 235 local channel here in Jackson metro area. Speaking of Full Moon, the best little pork house in Mississippi, 1935 Main Street in Madison, Mississippi. Call 601-853-1712 to place an order. When you place the order, give it about 8 to 15 minutes because they cook this stuff fresh, so you can come on in, grab your order, pay for it. Well, come in, pay for it, grab your order, and get on back to it. You can call 601-466-7713 for 10 or more meals for catering and let them know that you heard it on More on the Road and may throw you an extra cookie or so. Cakes, cookies, muffins, oh my. Contact Monique's Dessert Boutique or locate them on Facebook and Instagram. Send them a text at 646-626-9240. Hillcrest Christian School, one family, one faith, one future, 4060 South Sideway Road and Jackson, Mississippi, 601-372-149 or hillcrestchristian.g. Give them a call, schedule a tour test, and see what they have to offer over at Hillcrest Christian School. Defining Moments with Larry Nix. Tune in 104.3 every Tuesday and Thursday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. or log on to Facebook or YouTube and visit them on ignitems.tv. That's IGNITEMS.tv. One Faith, Friends, Family, and Fellowship. Zion Tribe Missionary Baptist Church, 925 West Pearl Street in Jackson, Mississippi. Zion-travelers.org service at 10:30 every Sunday, Sunday school at 9 a.m. and Bible class every Wednesday at 7:15. If you'd like them to advertise with this show, again, contact us at More and More Sports Management, where we give you more, nothing but more. Man, well, get all that good stuff on out the way, guys. Thank you for joining us. We have a interesting day today. There will be joining us. We're talking about basketball. Basketball is winding out its final stretch. We got the Final Four coming up, as well as high school championship coming on. Speaking of championship, I just want to say congratulations to Hillcrest Christian Cougars varsity boys basketball team. They are the Class 2A Division II champions, and I'm assistant coach in that. So congratulations to the guys who win that Division II Class 2A championship, state champs. It's something that we were fighting for the past three seasons. The past two, we were right there playing in the championship game. Couldn't get over that hump. But this year we finally got over the hump. So now we'll consider ourselves state champions, Division II and Class AA. And again, also speaking of basketball, I got an outstanding individual that is going to join me today in a few minutes. I'm gonna allow her to introduce herself and let her share what she has going on down in the hub city. Give me just a moment. Go ahead and bring her on fully. What you're playing with this technology, sometimes it is very interesting. It allows you to do something, but it won't allow you to do everything that you need to. Okay, now where are we? Okay, there we go. That's my mistakes. That's the user, not the technology. Joining me today is Coach Africa Moore. Coach, can you hear me? Coach got a
Yes,
microphone.
I can. I
Got her.
can. Good
Okay, now
morning.
finally unmuted yourself. Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for joining me at the last minute. I know that in this culture professor, sometimes it can be very interesting that they will join you at the last minute, waking you up out of your sleep because I know that you had your season didn't finish the way that you want to finish though. But I know what you still firm and stayed there. But Coach, thank you for joining me this day. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on this morning. Doing good. Doing good.
Hey, this is Coach Alpha Moore. We are related. Tree stomp somewhere up in there, but we're not gonna go into all that. She's the head coach down at. How was it this year at Oak Grove?
This season we started off really strong. Good, promising season. Saw some good things coming down the stretch, getting ready for district. We got hit with some issues. You know, sometimes we have those things that arise during the season, whether it be player personnel or injuries, and we kind of had to battle that. Finish the season starting a couple freshmen and sophomores, but I was pleased with what I saw.
Now, with that, now, like I said, you guys, you start out real strong, and I was looking forward to seeing you guys here up in Jackson. But hey, like I said, some things happen, and we just like I said, got to go the way that the hand is dealt with you. Now, I know you said that you started some freshmen. Did they impress you when they came out, or were you was still kind of saying they still have some growing to do?
I was impressed. I saw some good things. Saw a lot of good things. Just a lot of some maturity that and confidence that needs to be built on the court, and that's what we're going to be working on this off season. I think quite a few of them didn't expect to play as many minutes as they did, but they came out for us, and I think they did a really good job, and I think they're going to be even better this upcoming season.
Now, how many players are you losing for next year?
I'm losing four seniors. Um, One of them was a starter,
So you
but I
basically
got
almost returning back your same team.
returning back my same team. One of those seniors was a major piece of our program, but I'm returning back the whole team pretty much. A lot of sophomores, ton of freshmen. I think we have a good building block for a few years to come.
Now, I know with this, I don't know if you remember the school choice thing that they had was trying to fight up against a couple of weeks ago. I know this kind of jumped off subject because you know exactly what's coming to your school next year because of like I said, everybody is going up a grade. In some instance, I don't know what's your in debt about the source bill there was a pass but failed. What's your thought in athletics?
I think that when you speak about things like that, you have to be very mindful of what you say. So I'm going to word it to the best of my abilities. I will just say that high school sports is definitely leaning more towards what you see on the collegiate level, and sometimes that is more is not more beneficial to us. I'll say that. Everything has its pros and cons, but it's definitely obvious that we're leaning towards how things are done at the collegiate level. And I think school choice is one of those things that we're not ready for right now. It's not beneficial to all.
But how did you trying to because some people don't things the wrong way. In my opinion, I think that it kind of put a lot of schools on notice saying, hey, we need to get our stuff together. In reference to that these students have a choice to go to whatever school that they want. But I don't know, like I said, I'm of that I just know just some bits and bits pieces of it. But how is that I mean, how would that hurt athletics wise, especially in some
A lot of schools, you have our smaller schools. I think that would be very detrimental to them. And will also make them obsolete when you have kids who sometimes look at those bigger schools and they see all of the opportunities that are out there. what's going to happen when all of those bigger schools start pulling away from those smaller schools. I'm talking about your real 1A schools. What happens then? Those are kids that play multiple sports. They make up your athletic programs at that school. How that's going to have a major effect on those smaller schools.
And I think, in my opinion, just go ahead and stick with the old school way. You live in this district, go ahead and really divide it up equally. Like I said, because in major cities like it's Hattiesburg, because I know that you guys are kind of somewhat close to Hattiesburg, and that borderline fighting with Hattiesburg with certain number of students, and sometimes it could be one of those prominent athletes that can help you get over that hump. But if you were sitting in front of school board, would you tell them, man, just leave this stuff alone, to let us go and do what we do?
Yeah, I would tell them to leave it alone. I would tell them to leave NIL alone. I would tell them to leave everything alone. Our biggest thing right now is what we need to focus on is education. You have educators who are working 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet, but we're talking about paying players. You have coaches who are trying the best they can, and then you're talking about school choice and not giving them a fair shake to do things the right way. Fairness has kind of escaped us at this point, and it's all gone into collegiate recruiting almost. I think everything needs to remain the way it is. You're talking about
Now,
building
I
super
don't know if you
teams.
heard. Well, yeah, that's true. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the bill that just passed in Florida called the Teddy Bridgewater Act, in reference to know how he was spending his own money for some of the kids to eat and transportation and buying it because of the resource that school have. Now, do you think that should be a ding upon a coach if they spending their own money to help furnish a program because of that particular school district or that school don't have the resources to provide for that school or those scholar athletes?
I love the Teddy Bridgewater Act. I think that he is doing an amazing job. I've always thought he's done an amazing job. I followed him when he was in college all the way to when he made it to the league, and the things that he did for the kids when he was coaching on the high school level to me are very commendable because he cared for them not only as as a player but as a person. He looked out for their safety, their well-being, their personal lives, and I think that what he felt he had to do, he did. He made that act. But those are things that coaches do every day. You know, as coaches, we buy the food, we buy the meals. Sometimes we buy groceries for the family. Sometimes we're taking kids home every day. We're picking them up late at night. We're helping them in dire situations. I think what he did for where he is was necessary. A lot of times, I don't think people realize what goes into coaching. They see us on game night. They don't see us those practices, before those practices, after those practices, where we spend a lot of time with those kids, and it has nothing to do with the sport sometimes. It has to do with their safety and well-being.
Yeah, no, I know based off those particular schools and the resources that they may have. Like I said, some have very limited resources due to the economic status of that demographic. Now, but coaches still, like I said, pull out their pocket, in which I know that some of them not making a lot of money, especially depending on where you are, because like, hey, I coach at the public school as well as the private school. So I understand exactly where Teddy was coming from and wish he did. In my opinion, to be a successful coach, you're gonna have that because of regardless if you're private, public, if it's one of the school with all the resources, it doesn't matter because of you as a coach, those kids sometimes I feel ashamed and embarrassed to ask a coach, say, hey coach, I need some money to get something to eat. Or coach, I'm struggling because I don't have any clothes or shoes to wear. I'm wearing the same shoes that I'm wearing again, coach. I don't have this. Some of them are embarrassed. As a coach, do you sometimes approach your players? You know, you can see that they may go into some difficult dynamics within. Do you approach them or do you allow them to come to you and talk to you about it?
Sometimes it's a give and take. You have to understand your player's personality. And I say I just got my camera on. I've been over here working for the last few minutes trying to figure out how to get my camera on. But it's a give and take. Sometimes you have those players who will approach you and they'll let you know, coach, I need a little help. And then sometimes it'll be something that you'll be able to see yourself and reach out to that player to let them know
Mhm.
that they have a safe space if needed. You don't have to cross that boundary unless they feel that they need you, unless you feel it's a dire situation. Yeah.
All right. Well, again, I'm talking with Coach Africa Moore, head girls basketball coach at Oak Grove High School in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Coach, I don't know if next time you come up here, we definitely have to bring you to this restaurant. I'm live at Full Moon Barbecue here in Madison, Mississippi, which is up the street. I can say I done gained some weight and lost some weight eating here because every time I come here, they try to stuff me. But the food is good, so when you come up, definitely probably take a trip on a few extra miles up the highway. They definitely come on out here Full Moon because they will feed you now. And they talk about me sometime. I do my other show up here. I got to be more special, so you can tell me you want to
Okay.
be more special. They're gonna give you the whole menu.
Okay.
Well,
Okay. Okay.
coach, now, coach, look at especially girls basketball right now and female sports in general. Do you see that there's a growth in it right now, or is it still stable, or if it's still on? It's alive, but it's still right there. The heartbeat. You go up and down, or you get real heartbeat. Is it still kind of just tiddling along right now with women's sports?
I think it's going up and down. One minute we're saying, man, the athleticism has went down, and the next minute we got some girls who are showing some really impressive skill and IQ. So I say it's constantly going up and down. Initially, when the AAU started, I said, I don't know if I like this taking away from the team, but now we're getting to a time where kids are playing year round, and I think it's helping the girls. I think it's helping the girls quite a bit
Now,
for
I
sure.
know you don't have a lot of, well, you have input in athletics at Oak Grove. Do y'all have a flag football girls flag football team down there?
We do have girls flag football.
Okay. So
Yeah,
y'all one of the 15.
I
'Cause I
actually
think
have
they said
some.
is are you
I
coaching
think
it
it was
or you got
around
another
20
guy?
teams. I'm not coaching. We have a coach that coaches that. I actually have a couple of my younger players that are going to be playing flag football, and I support them. We were one of the pilot schools, and it turned out really well. They did pretty good, and I support them. I
Now,
support
let me
them
ask you, I know
as long as they
especially like
take.
we ate, as long as they do what?
As long as they take it seriously. If you out there playing around, you coming back to the gym. But if they
Okay.
take it seriously, and if the other kids that are out there taking it seriously, I support. Sports is about perfection, especially at this level with 7A basketball, 7A sports. You should take everything you do seriously at that level.
Now, what you say, I know we talked about the smaller schools earlier. In reference to your athlete playing multiple sports, how do you feel about them playing multiple sports, especially some of your babies know that you feel that can really carry your team? How do you feel about them playing multiple sports?
I think that's a really good thing. Playing multiple sports helps you with a variety of things. For example, your tennis players are 9 times out of 10 your players with the best footwork. When you talk about athleticism, when you talk about things like that, your kids that run track, they're probably extremely athletic. They're extremely flexible because they're getting a different level of training that they're not getting in the gym. When you talk about competitiveness, your kids that do other things, they're going to be competitive because they want to win. Um, if they have coaches who are pushing everything that they're doing, they want to win, and they bring that back to your program.
Now, and very competitive, especially at other sports. Are your girls very competitive when they're in the gym competing against each other in practice? Or do you have to sometimes kind of kick them in the butt and say, hey, don't let her beat you and you don't let her beat you?
hmm Now, when I initially got to Oak Grove, that was a thing. The level of competitiveness was very low. It was like, hey, if I don't win, it's okay. You're my friend. It's all right. I'm just happy to be here. So that was a mindset thing that we had to change, and it's constantly been a drastic change over this short amount of time. It's definitely have had to get into their behinds initially, but they've gotten to the point now to where they want to be extremely successful and they want to win at everything they do. And you have to make practice competitive. You have to make it competitive. And at the level that we're on, we're in a really good district. We're in a district with Brandon. They just played in quarterfinals last night. Northwest Rankin just played in the quarterfinals last night. Meridian lost to a really good team in the playoffs. The other teams in that district, everyone is trying to compete, and your practices have to be competitive.
Now, and speaking of the district, saying with Brandon, Northwest Rankin, and Meridian. Now, I've seen where all the they're very energetic and they really hustle out. Now, when you're competing in practice, again, was it a struggle to get your team to get that mindset of competing in practice? So, but by the time game time is easy, or did you really have to put in a work for them for their mindset to change?
Mindset change. Definitely have to put in work. Currently have to put in work. We started off the season 10-0. And that was a good thing. You saw, okay, we made a shift here. And then when it was time to take it up to another gear, you saw that we still have some weaknesses that we have to fix. The mindset in practice is the biggest thing. Making sure that everybody pushes and understands what push feels like. The hardest thing as a coach is when you have to do that. And you hear college coaches talk about it. Coach from Tennessee has been talking about it. Every interview she's had, quite other coaches. You got to have intrinsic motivation. When you have kids that don't have intrinsic motivation, it can make it very difficult. And those practices have to make up for it.
Now, looking back on this previous season, well, it's still going. What is one of those games that you look at and say, man, we should have beat that, well, we should have won the game, and look like, well, I wish I can go back and play that game over again? What's one of those games that you look at and say we should have won it? I'm not sure we're having a freeze, coach. Again, this is the outstanding technology, but hey, we're just having the freeze. But I know, like Coach stated, no, yes, they did start off hot, but like I said, is sometimes it's not how you start, it's how you finish when you're definitely playing in this game of basketball, because you can be up and sometimes you can be down. But definitely, from the beginning of the season, continue to take each game one at a time and take it game by game so that you can definitely come on out. Again, you're tuning in to More on the Road with Bernard Moore III, presented to you by More and More Sports Management. We're here live at Full Moon Barbecue. As you can take a look at some of the TVs, commercials, sports salon going all around. We're getting set for some college basketball. Looking at one TV who said Duke and somebody's about to play. Uh, Duke and somebody about to play. I'm not sure. Can't see who they're playing. Look like an orange team, probably Clemson. But I know you can't see the TV because the way I'm looking at another TV on the wall. But man, if you ever in the Madison or the Jackson Metro area, definitely come on, swing by Full Moon Barbecue and get you some good barbecue. Again, the stuff is cooked when it's ordered. Give yourself at least about 8 to 15 minutes when you place an order, and be set to ready to eat. I would advise you don't eat and drive, because I did that a couple of times and I messed up my clothes. It wasn't a bad thing, but hey, I messed up my shirt, but it's clean. They're clean, but hey, you come here, make sure that you eat. But while we wait for Coach to get back on, while we're waiting for Coach to get back on, wanted to talk about the high school basketball. As you can know, that we're definitely getting into basketball season here in Mississippi, the Mississippi area. Uh, They're gonna be at the big house starting Monday. We have some games, some smaller classes playing today. I know 1A is at Raymond because I will be in attendance to that game, as well as gosh, who else is playing? I think they got some schools at Mississippi Gulf Coast, and I think Pearl River are rounding out today with the basketball. So definitely come on out, look into Monday for some big house. I know one game Monday that everybody's looking forward to is Canton High School and Terry. Canton and Terry, they're playing Monday. So I'm definitely looking to see how the game is going to be. It's very what he wants to do and have his own mind. But that's why
Mhm.
we love it, because we definitely, some of us can't live without. Some of us old school man say, forget this technology. I am fine the way that I am. Who is whose stuff is messing up? Mine's or yours, or yours or mine. But we gotta love this technology. But
Mhm.
what I know we was talking about
Right.
before we left off. Can you hear me now?
I can. I
Okay,
can.
what we was talking
Yeah.
about before I left off is about, okay, the game that you wish you had back. Said, man, we should have won that game.
I can think about a couple. I think, and the one that's most vivid was a district game. I would say was Petal. You know, Petal is a rivalry for us. They're right up the street, and that was a district game for us that we needed. We ended up losing by 3. We missed 17 free throws. We missed 12 wide open layups. We had a
Outstanding.
ton of turnovers. Of course, we ended up getting them and making up for all of that the second time around, but it was just the thought of doing that. And one of the things that hurt us the most this season, and we talked about that mental toughness and making practice hard, was free throws. And that was one thing that showed our mental lapses throughout the season, where was our free throws.
Now I know some people
Yeah.
say they're the most easiest shot, and some people saying they're free. You got to take what's free. I can say that we should also, because I told my guys, like I said, I'm a assistant coach at Hillcrest Christian School varsity, but I'm the head junior varsity coach. And I told them my style of play, we're gonna win by free throws, and then we're gonna attack the basket layups. So if we attack the basket with layups, guess what? They're gonna foul you, and where you're gonna be at the free throw line. So I said that's how we're gonna win
Free
the game.
throws.
We missed a lot of layups and we missed a lot of free throws. And so those two things are
Mhm.
very important and part of the game of free throws and layups. Jump shots, those are, I said, those are the 50-50 balls, but layups and free throws, you should make them all the time. Your squad, your team, what is something that you struggle with the whole entire year besides free throws? They're just like, come on now. That's a cupcake. Besides free throws.
Besides free throws, breaking a press for us, that was interesting because against the hardest teams, we would break it with ease. And against the teams who they might have been pressing, but it wasn't extremely tough, we're throwing the ball to all of our family members and the bleachers, and it just made no sense. Like it made no sense. And even the kids, they would come over to the timeouts or whatever, and they would say, "I don't know why we're doing this. This is easy." Exactly. So what's the problem? So that was an interesting thing this season. One thing I did actually yesterday during practice, you know, we're still practicing off season, we're back at it, and I printed out all of our stats for the season, and I gave everyone their individual stats. The huddle was very quiet. Now we might talk about them during the season, but when you see what you did every game, and it's all compiled together and how it added up and totaled out, it puts everything into perspective. And it lets you know, bottom
Yeah.
line, I have to do more.
Now, I know I can't really say kids today they don't like watch film. Do you stress your players to watch film of your opponent as well as yourself?
Yes, we do. We definitely stress that. We do a lot of team film study as well, breakdowns. Sometimes it's homework assignments because we are a very strong academic school. I have them to, and they take their academics seriously. So to make sure that they take this seriously, I have them to break down film themselves. Like if I designate you a person that you're guarding, you have to break down that film yourself, and you're designated to break down their weaknesses and bring it back to the team. If you do a poor job, that could cost us a game. So we break it down. Sometimes we let
Yeah,
the girls break it down themselves. All of that. Yeah.
I know when I was in college at Jackson State, the greatest university in the state of Mississippi, one of our coaches, Coach John Shannon, he was an offensive coordinator, and before the game, he gave his offense team, he gave them test, and if they didn't pass their test, they didn't play. I wanted my study, but uh, I can't say, because the athletes today, they really don't really study the game. Basically, be studied. They just look at TikTok and what they see on the NBA and and
Mhm.
want to do. But I got to explain to them, NBA is entertainment. They get paid to provide a source of entertainment, and the student in the
Right.
NBA you cannot do in high school. And I had one
Right.
young man. Now he's a good player. He attacked the basket very hard. But I tell him, said you can't do that because they're gonna start calling that. He started doing it and they called. And I said, I told you they're gonna call it because I think more that know how they do that Euro step with an extra step and stuff in the NBA. I said, no, you
Hmm.
can't bring that here, especially in private school. They're gonna call it.
Right.
How do you relate your players, to watching other high school teams, college basketball, as well as the pros? Which one do you advise them to kind of really take a look at and kind of mimic your game or try to be a study student of the game?
I mean, we watch it all. If there's some good high school games on, we'll send the links in the chat, or we might get together and watch it. It's for them to see players their age are capable of doing amazing things, so they should be confident enough to do them themselves. Watching college sports to see what the future holds for them, possibly to understand what level. Okay, if they say I want to go to South Carolina, if I want to go to Jackson State, if I want to go to Mississippi State, what does that look like? What does my competition look like? Because those coaches, you have to be better than what they have. And in order for you to get there, in order for you to understand the move that you're trying to make, you have to watch basketball.
Now, let me ask you this. I know this may be not a sensitive subject or a sensitive question. Do you get in your players' butt during the game a lot? To my really get in their face, all up in their face, to my this, or you kind of play it cool because cameras up on you, you fussing at them, or some people can read lips and say, "Man, coach really getting into it." Like, man, I hate to be in that huddle. Like I told you once before, if you come to a game and I'm a part of, I'm gonna mic you up. So, do you
Okay.
really get in their face, or you kind of take it a little light?
It's a mix. You have those players that you can do that to, and that motivates them, and then you have some players that you cannot do that to because that makes them shut down. I had to learn that as a coach over time, but natural instinct with natural passion of the game. Yeah, I get on my players. This is go time. We are not in the kitchen. We are not baking cupcakes. We are playing a contact sport that is competitive. It is aggressive. It is a sport of passion. And if you do not match energy, you will be the loser. And we plan to win. So,
Now, looking from your past of coaches that coach you, coaches that you work with, and coaches that you've seen, who do you say you model your game after, your coaching style after of?
I really can't say that it's modeled after anyone specifically. I do say that I've learned from a lot of the coaches I've had, a lot of the coaches that have mentored me. But philosophy wise, I really pull from everyone. My coaching style comes instinctively from myself, but my philosophy and the things I've learned along the way, I take a lot from coaches or just people having conversations in general. When you're coaching, you're in a world of people, constant personalities, constant changes. I can't say one coach specifically. It pulls from everybody. It comes from us sitting around table. For example, you and myself, the conversations we've had. I pull from the opinions that you have. Sometimes it takes outside sources to really understand how to be successful at motivating, because that's what coaches do. We motivate. A lot of the programs that I've been to and I've worked in, I didn't go into ready-made programs. I came into programs that had to be developed. And in order to do that, you have to be able to understand people and motivate. So I can't really say it comes from one person, but I am a big Don Staley fan. I am a big Nick Saban fan. I'm a really big Nick Saban fan. A lot of people wouldn't believe that, and they say, what does that have to do with basketball? But he's such a disciplinarian, and everything he does is about discipline. And I really like that. And he has a lot of gems that I truly believe in, for sure. So I would probably say that, if
And
anybody. Yeah.
so I'm saying, and I think like I said, I'm with you on that. I pour from life coaches that even some people that people think that are unsuccessful. If you see a coach that they're constantly
Mhm.
losing or they're not in it, you can still learn a lot from even from a coach that's not successful, what not to do. And then some things there's some good in all coaches, and there's some coaches that
Hmm.
I even picked up some things from certain coaches that I've not saying we drug the floor with them, but nah, we drug the floor with them, and I picked up like, hey, well, that coach know how he's working with the kids. No, they're not into the game, but he's still motivating the kids. No, give them certain words of encouragement to still just don't quit. But
Right.
speaking of discipline, how difficult sometimes it is to get your child, no, I'm saying your child, well, they are your children, your student, your scholar athletes to be disciplined. Because I tell my players, even sometimes how you clean up your locker room, how your locker looks, no, how you come out dressed is one thing I cannot stand. I tell my players when we give them the uniform, tuck your jersey in. They'll tuck it in, get out on the court, the jersey out.
Right.
How important is for it to stress discipline amongst your team?
Discipline is really important. That's one of the things that we're working on right now, from the top all the way to the bottom. A lot of times, different discipline has nothing to do with behavior when you're talking about good or bad, but it's as simple as being able to follow instruction to do things without being asked to do so. To understand what structure looks like, to be able to play a disciplined game, you have to live with discipline. And we have players who come into that gym and they don't live a life of discipline, and they have to be able to turn that switch on when they walk in the gym.
All right, now turnovers. You feel that's part of lack of discipline, or opponent is just a little tad better than you are?
It's a lack of discipline. And that's why I say that's one of those things that we're battling right now. For example, turnovers is either forced or unforced. If it's forced, I'm looking at what caused it, how did it happen. Most high school teams are very consistent with what they do. They're very predictable. So if they've done it once, they're going to do it again. It may happen once, it may happen twice, but after that, you should be able to make that read and make that adjustment instantly. It shouldn't take 10 times before you figure it out. That means you're not reading and you're not thinking for yourself. You're not being patient enough to be disciplined to see what's happening to you. You're just constantly doing the same thing. And that's what we talk about. What is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing the same way every time.
Wow. All right, again, we're talking with Africa Moore here live at Full Moon Barbecue, 1935 Main Street here in Madison, Mississippi, talking about basketball and discipline. Coach, now in reference to sometimes you was thinking about the press, just looking back over your team, though, that you saying that they should have broke the press, but they lack of discipline turned the ball over. Were they attempting to go for the home run ball, or they were just throwing it away? Like I said, they wanted to include their family in the stands to be a part of the game.
For example, there's not a team that we play and we haven't scouted. There's not a team that we play and we don't know everything that they do, that it has been broken down, that you don't know where you need to be at what time just to get there and make the play. And when you get there, and okay, in the game, it does feel a little different, and you have to make that adjustment. But the question is always about discipline. Did you make the adjustment, or did you keep doing things the way you felt would work? Sometimes basketball is not about feeling, it's about what works, and it's all strategy. And you have to be able to stick to the game plan and work with the strategy. And if you're not able to do that, you're not disciplined.
Now I know I said looking at I watch film. I tell my player, well, I'm kind of give my coaching strategy. This is how I live by. I don't do the same thing every game because just like I said, we watch film and we study film. I know other coaches watch film and study film, so I try not to do the same thing every game. So I'm constantly changing. I'm running the same sets, but I kind of change a little bit and add more different to it. And what irks me is that my team, after watching film, this is what they're going to do. This is what we're going to do. If we do this the way it should be done, we will be successful. We call it,
Right.
they all into it. Yeah, coach, we're going to do it. But then get to the game time, it's like, okay, what happened? Why? Well, coach, this. Like, dude, I'm telling y'all what they're doing. They're doing exactly what I said it's going to do. That really irks me. It's like that
Mhm.
lack of discipline of focus on what you're supposed to be doing. Now, I provide encouragement. Now, I'm not no ego thing, but I believe tactics and I believe in my team. I told them we spoke this year. Yeah, they all decided, yeah, coach, we're gonna go undefeated, but didn't get to the game. Why? Like, what happened? Coach, I was tired. No, coach, this is another thing. Your opinion. Before the game, do you have your players sit their dusty tails down somewhere, relax, get out their feet, or you just kind of let them roam? Especially if
They're
it's a home
in
game.
they're in an area, they're together. Got to win as a team. So wherever you are, you're together. And 9 times out of 10, they're sitting down somewhere and they're together. And at a certain time, maybe an hour out from the game, I have them go and sit to themselves, talk with themselves, because we have, like I said, we had a lot of mental toughness issues. So for them to be able to have that conversation with each other before the game started, whether it worked, whether it didn't, hey, I don't know, because I let them go off on their own, and who knows what teenagers talk about and what they do before the game. But when you have those teenagers who are really serious about winning, they're talking about business. And that's what we're trying to breed. Cut out all the riffraff, cut off all the horseplay. You do that after you win. If winning is not your prime focus, then we're trying to change that program. It might not fit the program anymore. Yeah.
And leadership and captains, or some people look at the leader as the captain, whatever. Do you kind of push a player that you feel that has good leadership capability to become a captain or be the spokesman or help lead the team, or do you kind of see who can step into the role on their own?
I just kind of watch. I see. I just sit back and I see who takes the lead. At some point, coach has to stop talking, and who talks while coach is not talking. And that's what we're trying to get to. When I got to Oak Grove, we did not have a lot of team leadership. You want to have a player-led team. We did not have that, and we're still working on that. It's getting a ton better, but I just kind of sit back and observe who is not afraid to correct their teammates, who's not afraid to encourage their teammates, who's not afraid to address the team. My first year, we didn't have captains at all, because no one exemplified that. They wanted captains, but if you're not ready, why would I give you something that you haven't earned? This year, we had 3 captains, and all of them were underclassmen, and which also gives me a lot of confidence in our upcoming season. I just kind of sit back. Who's showing leadership? And then if I say, hey, okay, team, I picked the captain. I want somebody else to pick another captain. Team, vote. Who do you want your other captain to be? Who do you listen to? And you give them a little bit of that power to say, this is who we want to listen to.
Now, as a coach, do you prefer for your team to correct the team, or do you want to start it, be more the initiator, and help, and hopefully that somebody pick up and say, "Hey, I want y'all to correct it." So do you want the team to correct the team, or do you want to be more the coach correct?
I definitely want the kids to correct themselves, on the team to correct the team, because, like I said, a player-led team, when they're on the court, I can't run on the court. When they're making mistakes, I can't run out there. They have to be
You
able
can. You're
to
gonna get a
and
check.
willing to.
You can.
Right, right. I've tried. You cannot do that. Um, you know, so you want them to be able to correct each other when they come to the huddle. I let them talk first. What do you feel? What are you thinking? What do you see? What do you need help with? And if they're helping each other, I'm quiet. And if they can't figure it out, that's when I step in and I say, hey, you're on the wrong track. Let me straighten it out. What you're saying. I get what you're saying, but this is what the adjustment needs to be. And because us as coaches, we're teaching basketball, we're teaching IQ. We want them to be able to learn it on their own. You never know; these might be future coaches, and they got another game of basketball, and you can't play it without knowing it. So allow them to lead. Let them lead.
Now you've been in coaching for quite some time now. I know
Yeah.
that you have produced some young ladies to going out to have college career and stuff. How many come back to you and say thank you, or reach out to you, or you bump into them and say thank you?
Quite a bit, quite a bit. And I love to hear it. Some of them they'll text me. Some are still in college. They'll text me. Some of the younger ones, they'll just say, "Hey, coach, just want to thank you." I understood what you're saying. College is hard, life is hard. They'll let me know their grades. The older ones, they have families now. They'll reach back. Of course, they'll say, Coach Moore, when are you gonna have kids? We beat you to have a kid. Okay, congratulations. I'm ready to babysit for you. But they always show support. And I've been at a couple schools over time. I've been at Natchez, I've been at Laurel, here at Oak Grove, but those kids, they still stay in contact. They check in when they're in town. Actually had one reach out a couple days ago. I hadn't heard from her in a couple years. She just randomly, because I've had the same phone number forever, not changing my number because I want them to be able to get in contact with me. But just text me and said, "Hey, Coach, just want you to know I'm in the military. I'm doing well. I'm here. I'm being successful. I just want you to know." So, and it's actually a conversation I had with my current players a couple days ago. I want, wherever I am and what program I'm in, and I want those players to be able to reach back and feel like they have a family. So they contact me
Now,
often.
how many players you coaching now that you know of?
Um,
Are any of your former players coaching?
Not coaching as in official coaching like with a school, but some are coaching AAU. Many of them tell me often they don't see how I did it. They don't see how I do it. They don't see how I did it. They talk about the temperament of the kids. They talk about all kinds of things. So most of them went into other fields. Yeah.
Now, now, in reference to coaching, how many that you sent to college that come reach back out to you like, Coach, I now I see what you're talking about. Know how college is, compared to what you think they were doing when I was with you. I thought you were doing so much, and now I get to college, and like it's way too much.
Yeah, all the time. I have 3 in college right now. They call and they'll come visit and they say, Coach, this is a lot. This is a lot. I wasn't expecting this. They were like, you said it. You said it. But in their favorite line, and it's always funny to me, they say, Coach, we thought you were crazy. Our coach is really crazy. I was like, exactly. 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 So, but it's all part of the game. You gotta love it.
What and I mean, as a coach, how does it make you feel? When the players come back to you and say, "Hey, coach, you were right. No, no, we thought this about you. Now we looking at stuff like, man, it's worse. No, man, I can't stand it, coach. Sometimes I feel like I want to quit, but I hear you in the back of my grind say, continue to do it, continue to do it."
It makes me feel good, of course. I'm happy to see them stick it out and be successful, but it also lets me know maybe I can go a little bit harder. I can go a little bit harder. Their coaches are coaching them hard. Maybe I can go a little bit harder because my biggest thing is you always want to prepare them for college. You never want those kids to go to college and quit. They can't do it. They don't want to do it because high school was easy for them. You want to make sure it's tough. You got to make sure it's tough so they can succeed when they leave there. Yeah.
All right, now I'm gonna ask this because I ask myself this every day. Do you feel like quitting every day?
I have had some weary days. I've had some weary days. I really have. But I'll say I
So,
coach some great kids. I coach some great kids. I coach some great kids. I love them to death. Um, and a lot of times, like wanting to quit has nothing to do with the kids. It has nothing to do with the
yeah, I
kids.
know it's not the kids, especially. Yeah, I look at it sometimes. Even my current job was like, man, and everything I do, like, man, I feel like quitting. I don't feel like doing this no more, man. Forget it and just walk away everything. Go do a Ricky Williams. But then I think about the impact that I made, like you stated, some of the players call you back, or even some that didn't even play, but say, "Hey, coach, now I remember you coaching, and I saw you acting. I thought about you, and you encouraged me to get into sports. You encouraged me to get into coaching, even though I didn't play." Inspires me
Yeah.
is saying that you are making a difference or impact in those students' lives, those guys. I mean, guys and girls' lives, regardless of someone you feel like man, leave me alone sometime more, or though stop bugging me. You I know you had them worse players like, man, I wish the dude just or the girl just go on somewhere because they just not worrisome, but they just irritating them sometimes.
Yeah.
When you see some of your players do stuff and you did not believe they surprised you, how do you like, man, I ain't know they can do that, or wow, I ain't never seen them do that.
Excited. Excited. It's exciting. It's fun. It's a boost. It's let's go. Let's go. You doing stuff I haven't seen you do before. Let's go. Now I know you can do it. Now you know you can do it. It's impressive. I love to see it. Love to see it.
Now, at the beginning of the season, they were mediocre. No, they weren't giving it all, but as the season went on, you saw a major improvement in them. But then sometimes they got it kind of went to their head. Have you had to bring somebody back down to earth?
All the time. All the time. And my easiest thing to say is look at our district. If you're not bringing me in 20 points a game, what are you talking about? If we're not winning the game and you're the one who brought us over the threshold, what are you talking about? If I don't have Don and Kim Mulkey trying to knock down doors to the gym to come and watch you practice and play, what are you talking about? You're not humble enough. You haven't achieved enough. And a lot of people may say, well, you're being too harsh. But what are we talking about here? You want me to encourage, but you don't want me to push for success. What do you want me to do? If
Now
you
I'm
haven't
gonna ask
achieved
this.
your goal,
I asked.
what do you
Now
want
I
me to
asked
do?
a whole lot of coaches
Let's
this. Now,
go
now I'm gonna
ahead.
ask this: How many coaches do you have? How many coaches do you have?
Only two.
You sure? You
I
sure
got
you only
like
got
30 in
two?
the stands. I got 30 in the stands. I got about 100 on Facebook.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's
I
exactly what I was looking for.
yeah. Yesterday, I went to watch some of the quarterfinals games, and while I was there, I saw my former high school coach, and I actually sat with her and watched
Uh
all
huh.
the games. Like we sat there all night and watched all of the games, and it was some really good games. Some coaches and colleagues of mine, I'm really happy for. Um, and one of the things that bothered me the most, and I told my coach, I said, Coach, this is why when I walk into gyms, I act like I am VIP. I don't sit in the bleachers because it is so hard for me to sit there and listen to people critique kids, coaches all night long. And if you were in that position, if you were in our position, you can handle it. You couldn't.
Yeah.
To have a room full of
Yeah.
people yelling
Exactly.
at you, you can handle it.
I totally understand. Not saying, but yes, you are VIP because you're more. So we're gonna act like we VIP, especially. But I
VIP.
totally get what you're saying about that. Sitting in the stands, watching somebody up each other. I was like, these people just don't understand. Some people want to say, why don't you go down there, coach? No, I'll go down, coach. We're
Mhm,
gonna be winning. Yeah, you sure? It's not as
mhm.
easy as it seems. Cause I tell my players because sometimes out of respect that they are parents. Yes, they are. I said, but they not at practice. No, watching you sluggish and no, sit here throwing up shots in practice, or you're not really focused. You're doing. You're not getting all in practice. That's why you sitting on the bench. You not. They're not at practice seeing you. We don't win over the same play over and over again, and you turning the ball over. And now you get into the game, you're doing the same thing. And that's why you're on the bench. So I love those game time coaches, but they do get on my nerves sometimes. I definitely drain them out. I won't pay them no attention, focus on what's going on. But what gets me sometimes is that turn around and look and talking to their family. Then sometimes the family come right behind the bench and tell them something. I'm like, where you going? But I
For
had one
us,
player last. I can't remember when was it. It was either last year before last. He sitting here eating nacho with his younger brother, and so I sent him to the locker room.
you know, with things like that, it's like, well, I'm gonna let you go where you want to be. I have a talk with my parents before the season starts, and it's no disrespect. Respect is respect. You can't coach a child. You can't walk them to class. You can't. followed them through life, sometimes you're going to have to sit back and watch and let things unfold and to
Yeah.
step into coaching them from the stands. Now you're stepping into my boundaries. They're a child. I'm an adult. I can speak for myself when I say, this is my job. And, you can't take over my job. And if you want to coach, I give you the opportunity to go somewhere and get you a team. And for a player, if you're looking into stands, you can go sit there. Because that lets me know you're not locked in on what's going on. Of course, as a player, you won't always agree with what your coach is doing. You won't like it. But as a coach, I don't agree with what you're doing as a player. And I don't like it. And I'm not turning around to the stands talking about you to anybody. We're locked in. So has to be locked in. Otherwise, you're going to be somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Coach, I really do appreciate your time. This beautiful. But I'm finna ready to go watch some. I think it's 1A. I think 1A. They're playing at Raymond, so I'm finna go check them out. And then I'm gonna be at the big house all next week. Hey. So
Good time.
enjoying some basketball. But is there anything else that you would like to share before we let you go so you can finish your Saturday?
I would just like to say thank you for inviting me, for thinking of me. It's great things happening at Elk Grove, and I encourage everyone to come and check that out and support us as much as possible, and to continue to support women's sports. And just thank you for everything. Appreciate it.
No problem. We got each other back. So you're more so we family. So we got you back. Anything that we
I'm
can
here.
do at on the road, more and more sports management, we got you again. But so when you come to town, definitely let me know so we can definitely come up here to Full Moon so you can try some of this barbecue.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Well, Coach, you go ahead and have yourself a lovely Saturday, and I hopefully I see you sometime next week.
You will. We'll be there. We'll be there.
All right. All right. Again, that was Coach Africa Moore, girls coach down in Oak Grove. Like I said, she started out very well at the beginning of the season, and that's what anything. You're gonna start off very well, but sometimes you definitely got to finish strong. Due to the fact of some different dynamics throughout the season. So when that time comes, you definitely gonna have to step up. When your is called, you're gonna have to step up and play this game of basketball because it is. I think they play at least about 30 plus games a season. So definitely mentally you have to be ready. You physically have to be ready and just go out and have some fun, man. But again, we're here live at Full Moon Barbecue, 1935 Main Street. Definitely want to give Tim and his staff thanks for allowing me to come in here and smell some of this good barbecue because it's already gonna hit my nose up right now. So I'm finna go place an order and give me a little bite to eat, and then I'm gonna go watch some live basketball. But until next time, much love to you guys. I see you guys when I see you guys. You know how we about to go and get out of here. Much love, but this technology is freezing up on me. Very much love to you guys. 1 + 1 =